We are telling Mwai Kibaki it will not be long. He will have to quit State House because he did not do. We are making it categorical that this is not going to be about a day, it is not going to be about a week, it's not going to be about a month, it is going to be until.
Alituambia ya kwamba mwaka huu atikazi 1400 zilipatikana. Mimi nataka niulize watu wa Kigani. Wakati tulimuuliza Bwana Kibaki atueleze ni gazi wa Igembe, niwaulize watu wa Igembe. Wakati tulimuuliza Bwana Kibaki hizi kazi 1400 ni gani, akasema ati kuna wamama wanauza mboga sokoni na kuna vijana wanafanya kazi bodaboda. Ati hiyo ni kazi imepatikana. Mimi nataka niwaulize, na tunamwambia Bwana Kibaki, kazi ya wamama kuuza mboga ama vijana kwenda na bodaboda, hiyo wanaweza kujifanyia wenyewe. Tunataka serikali itoe nafasi ya kutosha kwa kina mama kufanya biashara, sio biashara ya kuuza mboga.
I want you to hear me properly. Watu wa Nandi tunaelewana? Mimi ninasema hivi, vile tulikuwa tumekubaliana na nyinyi under the Big Four plan, mimi ninasema next year our priority number 1 is to invest the first 100 billion in our plan on housing, on manufacturing, on agro-processing, on value addition, so that we can create enough jobs for these 4 million young people educated with degrees, diplomas and certificates, so that they can stand up and contribute to the development and welfare of our nation. Tumekubaliana? Tumekubaliana? Unajua kuna watu wanachochea vijana. Wanachochea vijana waharibu mali, wachome biashara, wachome mali ya watu wengine, wakisema ya kwamba hawa vijana wanachoma mali kwa sababu hawana kazi. Mimi nataka niwaulize, supermarket ikichomwa, biashara ya mtu ikichomwa, ndio kazi itapatikana? Ndio kazi itapatikana? Mimi nataka niulize swali ingine. Unajua kuna watu wanataka kutuhadaa ya kwamba vijana wote walikuwa wanafanya kazi kabla RUTO hajakuwa rais. Mimi nataka niwaulize, Kenya hii, mnataka kuniambia vijana wote walikuwa na kazi kabla ya mimi kuwa rais? Hii kazi ya unemployment imeanza mimi nikiwa rais? Si ni shida imekuweko siku nyingi? Sasa tuambiane ukweli. Na mimi nataka niseme hapa tukiwa Nairobi, tuwache kudanganyana. Kama watu wako na maneno waseme. Na mimi nimechangia sehemu ya kuhakikisha kwamba vijana wamepata kazi. Nimechangia vijana 1320 kwa affordable housing. Nimechangia vijana karibu 1200 kwa digital jobs. Nimechangia kazi majuu ile tumepanga na nchi zingine, karibu vijana 1400 wamepata kazi. Mimi nauliza, vile mimi nimetoa orodha ya yale nimefanya vijana wapate kazi, nataka watuambie zile serikali ingine walifanya kazi gani. We must tell each other the truth. Tuwache kuwachochea vijana wa Kenya. Kazi ya unemployment haikuanza wakati wa serikali hii. In fact, shida ya unemployment ni kwa sababu hatujakuwa na mpango ama taratibu ya serikali vile nimeweka. Ndio tumekuwa na mrindiko mkubwa, a huge pile up of unemployed youth, because we have never had a comprehensive plan to make sure that young people have jobs the way we have it today. And therefore, let us not deceive ourselves, and let us not incite the young people of Kenya on matters unemployment. It cannot be sorted out in one day. It was never sorted out by the previous administrations. I am working on it now. That is why we have 320,000 young people working in our affordable housing. That is why we have 200,000 young people working in our digital jobs framework. And that is why we have 400,000 young people working outside Kenya today. Because for the first time, we have a plan on sorting out the challenge of unemployment. The reason why this problem is bigger than what it should be is because there has never been any plan before. And we must tell each other the truth. Sio kama tunaelewana jameni. Unajua watu wanataka kududanganya ni kama hawa vijana walikosa kazi ati wakati mimi nimekuwa rais. Mimi nataka niwaulize, kwani vijana wote Kenya hii walikuwa na kazi kabla ya mimi kuwa rais? Tuache upuzi bwana. Hiyo ni upumbavu hiyo. Sio kama tunaelewana. Tuko pamoja? Tunaelewana? So mimi nataka niwaambie viongozi hawa wa kuishiwa hapa, kwa sababu wanazunguka hapa town. Kwanza niliona ati wanasema ati sasa hawatangojea 2027 ati tupige kura. Ati wanataka kupanga fujo. Ati wapange maandamano. Ati wachome mali ya watu. Ati walete maafa Kenya. Ati ndio wapindue serikali ya Kenya kabla ya 2027. Mimi nataka niwaambie wajaribu. Watajua hawajui. Wajaribu. Allah. Hii ni Kenya ya demokrasia, my friends. Kenya ni nchi ya demokrasia. Hamuwezi kutuambia ya kwamba mnaweza kupanga fujo ati mpindue serikali ya Kenya. Tafuteni vizuri. Sijui kama tunaelewana. I want to tell those characters, the ones who are telling us, giving us lectures, that they can change this administration using unlawful, using violence, using unlawful means at before 2027. Let them try. Tunaelewana? Wajaribu. Hii ni nchi ya demokrasia na wananchi ndio wanaamua kwa debe uongozi wa taifa letu la Kenya. Hatuwezi kuamua ati uongozi wa Kenya kupitia fujo ama kupitia vita ama kuharibu mali ya watu wengine. That is not going to happen in this country. Sijui kama tunaelewana jameni. Tuko pamoja? Wafikirie vizuri. Na mtu unajua wananiambia sijui nini, sijui Moi. Moi alikuwa rais wa Kenya. Vile Kibaki alikuwa rais wa Kenya. Vile Uhuru alikuwa rais wa Kenya. Na kabla ya Moi kulikuwa na Kenyatta. Na baada ya Moi kulikuwa na Kibaki. Na baada ya Kibaki kulikuwa na Uhuru. Hii kisirani ni ya nini? Hapana. Hiyo ni upuzi. Sio kama naelewana.
This morning, I've seen RUTO covering and wailing in uncontrollable anger. Mr. RUTO, excessive anger is not a solution. I want, with a lot of humility, to advise you to stop being angry. That will not help. You need to know what you need to do because you have not been listening to the people of Kenya. The people of Kenya are more angry than you are. They are angry because you have overtaxed them. There is wanton corruption. There is abductions and extrajudicial killings. There is ethnic profiling and other ills that bedevil your administration. If you want to be calm, please abolish the housing levy and give dignity to the passive. I have heard you saying that you cannot give jobs to the young people. Please restore the dignity of the payslip. Restore the capacity of the middle class. The middle class will give jobs to these young people. Stop killing and profiling the young people. Listen to them. Stop abductions and extrajudicial killings. Abolish, disband the killer squad of 101 officers at Danudin Haji. Give hustlers the jobs that you promised them. Mr. William Ruto, you are the one who promised. You cannot cry today that you have no solution, saying that other presidents have not been able to do it. You are the one who promised these young people. Stop police brutality. Stop abductions and illegal detentions. Get the hustlers from the bottom of the economic pyramid as you promised. Yes, Mr. President, we agree there were other presidents before you, as you have rightly stated. And true, they never went through what you are experiencing today. May it please you to know that the reason why Kenyans rarely had problems with them, Kibaki and Uhuru Kenyatta were guided by the Constitution. and the rule of law. They did not capture our constitutional institutions to work for them, instead of working for Kenyans. They never killed children. They never attempted to build churches in State House. They never organized militias to destroy people's property and kill them. That is why you have a problem. And we also want to remind you that Mwai Kibaki had a difficult time from you, William Ruto. Videos are everywhere. You cannot say that Mwai Kibaki did not face resistance. It's on record that you gave hell to President Kenyatta for 5 years. So it is hypocritical for you to allege that Mwai Kibaki and Uhuru Kenyatta had a very easy time. Most of the problems Mwai Kibaki and Uhuru Kenyatta had came from yourself, and it's on record. Mr. President, nobody wants to throw you. Nobody wants to overthrow your government. Nobody wants you out of power through unconstitutional means. Mr. President, I and the people we work with are on record. We want you to remove you from State House through the ballot in 2027. This narrative you are creating that there is an attempt to overthrow your government is for you to have the opportunity to use the Terrorism Act to profile communities and to persecute leaders who are opposed to your administration. Please relax. We want you to serve your one term. Nobody wants you out of government unconstitutionally. Nobody has any plan to overthrow your administration, Mr. President. We want to face you on the ballot in August 2027. So just relax and stop crying wolf that anybody wants you out of office unconstitutionally. There is no leader here who is planning a coup, and none has the capacity. And nobody is interested. The leaders in this country, and indeed 95% of the Kenyan population, want to humiliate you at the ballot. They will relish that moment. None of them would want you to go out through any other method, unless, of course, you decided to resign on your own volition. So please stop creating this narrative. This narrative is to enable you to use anti-terrorism law to persecute leaders and to persecute the Kikuyu community. If you speak out online, Mr. President, you want to use the Terrorism Act to harass people. If you dare challenge your administration, you want to use the Terrorism Act to deal with people who are opposed to your administration. My fellow Kenyans, let us not be deceived. William Ruto has stripped away even the pretense of democracy. What we are witnessing is not the rule of law, but the rule of fear. This is not the behavior of a government that serves its people. This is the machinery of outright dictatorship. Finally, I want to announce to the people of Kenya that tonight I will be traveling to the United States of America to talk to the Kenyans in diaspora and the international community about the state of the nation. I would have wanted to stay in the country at this very difficult time when our people are under siege, but I have engagements that I'm not able to postpone. I have been threatened by people close to William Ruto, who called some of my people today, and they will want to stop me from leaving the country. I have no problem. If you want to come and arrest me at the airport, as you are threatening us, you can go ahead. I don't have a problem. You cannot sell fear to us. You know, even if you sold us fear, we cannot buy. You know, and therefore, as I'm out of the country, unless I'm stopped from going, and if I'm stopped from going, I'm still okay. I'll be here because this is my country. We have made sufficient arrangements with other leaders in the united opposition to create a pool of lawyers to come in through for our young people who are being persecuted on trumped-up charges of terrorism. And I want to explain. I have heard the president saying that people have attacked police stations and the law courts. It was all stage managed by the MP for Kikuyu. How do you explain that people can walk into a police station and they are not armed and take over the police station from armed police officers? How do you go to the courts that are guarded by armed police officers and touch them? All these attacks of vital installations were stage managed by William Ruto through Kimani Ichung'wa to create the opportunity to prefer charges against people using the Anti-Terrorism Act. That is the reality. So nobody has attacked any police station. They were all stage managed by government. And what is happening is history is repeating itself. This is exactly what Moi did in the 80s against the Kikuyu community. After the abortive 1982 coup, she used sedition laws and the clandestine Kenya movement to profile the community and hold people into court, and they'll be taken by Bernard Chunga after 5 p.m. This is history repeating itself. I want to ask our people to be calm, to be cautious, and to be strong. I want to appeal to our young people, the Gen Zs. Looking at the scenario of what is happening and what William Ruto has planned, I want to ask my children, my sons and daughters, to consider applying the next onslaught against the President William Ruto by getting IDs and registering as voters so that they can deal with William Ruto on the ballot. Because I fear for them. Anytime they go out to the streets, they are killed like chicken. I would like to preserve to us these children. We would like to live with them. We would like to see them grow. And when we look at the desperation of William Ruto and the brutal force he is using against these children and the use of state militias to attack them, I would like to plead with them to consider to join us, we in the opposition, by registering as voters. And in 2027 we will be able to get rid of President William Ruto. William Ruto, finally, let me ask you a question.